I can't do anything about that.
Everybody, we're live.
Minutes, 'cause
Hey, thank you again for the night.
you can't do.
Pleasure, man.
Oh, okay. I'll make that. I was instructed that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well,
Terry
time
said
I
that,
Red and
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, it went red.
Yeah, so, I don't know what rules.
You're live.
I think you can vote on it,
I
but,
can.
all right. Any reason to delay any further?
You're live.
All right, I'll call the Water and Sewer Commission to order for March the 6th. And the first order of business is a roll call.
Yes, sir. Mayor Hobbs,
Here.
Chairman Commissioner Mike Anderson,
Here.
Vice Chairman Commissioner Nelson Watson,
Here.
Secretary Commissioner Gary Hunt, absent. Commissioner Terrence Hillsman,
Here.
Alderman Julie Anderson, absent. Director Jeff Perry, here. And Billing Office Manager Jennifer Hall, she's absent. So next is approval of.
Yeah, that's a quorum. We have 3 out of 5, so we have a quorum. Next item is citizens' comments.
Approval of the agenda.
Yeah, to approve the agenda.
On the, approve the minutes.
I got a revised.
Revised, this is. the-
All right.
That's the revised one.
All right. Approval of agenda. Okay. I move that we approve the agenda as written.
I second.
Any comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Agenda is approved. Now, citizens' comments. Hearing none, we'll move on. Review of previous minutes. I think everybody got a copy of the very long minutes. I move that we approve the minutes as written.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion about the minutes or corrections? Hearing none?
They are white this time.
Yep, thank you. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. Minutes are approved. Hand me that. Mayor, your report?
So I don't have a whole lot to talk about this time, other than the Dukes project is going extremely well. I think Jeff will probably cover some of that for us. We've had a couple calls with those guys. Very professional outfit. They do extremely good work as far as keeping us in the know. They're gonna give us, instead of waiting for the project to be over and give it all at one time, they're giving it as they finish sections so that we can start improvements internally as we can. So other than that, I got 2 hours of utility credit Monday. I was at a conference, so trying to keep up on my hours.
All right. All right, next item on the agenda is the director's report.
Yes, sir. So, the month of February of 2025, we had a sanitary survey conducted by the state. We received back the preliminary results, and we scored a 99%, which is good. I don't want to say who we had a better score than, but I'm happy about that. And instead of going line by line, I'm just gonna give you a grand overview of all of the things that we have accomplished throughout February. So water distribution, we fixed 2 water main breaks. This is all in the month of February. We fixed 8 water leaks on service lines, had 1 hydrant repair, replaced 2 air relief valves on Ragsdale Road, made 4 new water taps, and installed 1 water valve. The water valve was installed at the old water treatment plant. So we had a company come in and they did a hot valve insertion on the live line. Had a lot of pressure on it. If it would have blown, it would have been bad. So it went well, thank God. the wastewater collection system. So we're gathering data on on all of our pumping stations. 3 pumping stations are currently at or over capacity: Northridge, Fredonia, and the Highway 55 station. We will be gathering data from the 7-Eleven pumping station to determine future growth capacity. So Adam Carter with St. John sent, I guess this report on the Northridge and Fredonia pumping stations. So on Northridge, 267 houses are currently built or approved that will discharge to that station. The design, it was only designed for 215. Fredonia, currently upwards of 200 houses are discharging to that station now. 300 more are currently approved to discharge to that station, which would make it roughly 500 total. And that means it is severely undersized and can't handle all of that. So Adam's recommendation was plans for upgrading that pumping station needs to begin very soon, and no more houses to be allowed on that station without upgrades.
Can I ask a question? So I just want to clarify. So you're saying that that many houses are already hooked up, or are we saying that there's houses and lots approved to get to those numbers?
So that's lots and houses approved.
So they're not necessarily being discharged today,
That's correct.
right? So we're not necessarily over capacity today, but if everybody built and did that, we would be, right?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to clarify that, because when we leave here, right, there's gonna be a lot of people that run out there and jump on the computer and say how the bad world's ending.
Yeah.
But the reality of the situation is yes, we do have approvals that we could get there, but we're not there today,
So,
right?
that's
So we have
correct.
time for a plan.
And ultimately, I mean, at the end of the day, it's my decision to approve or disapprove any additional plans that goes to those pumping
Yep,
stations.
okay, perfect.
So I'm sorry I didn't clarify that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor.
No, I just, like I said, I read the same thing, and I just want to make sure that,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Bid opening was held on March the 3rd for the ARC grant for basin rehabilitation, which will be upsizing the sewer main from Willis Farm to Skinner Flat. I can't remember the name of the company that, Fisher Excavating. And they are out of Illinois, if I'm not mistaken.
What was the name of the company
Fisher.
So they are wanting, I guess this could be, they're wanting to branch out and have operations in Tennessee. The federal ARP grant, Dukes has completed 1,014 available manhole inspections. 73 have been found that need to be uncovered. I think there was 14 that were not found, my numbers are right. And they have now moved on to televising. Currently, they have televised 65,300 feet. 10,700 feet needs to be cleaned before being televised. Smoke testing will start this spring, coinciding with televising and cleaning. Public notification and door tags will be placed for residents between 2 and 7 days before beginning. The door tags will both contain English and Spanish directions with frequently asked questions and answers, along with phone numbers to call if needed. We will also, if need be, post on social media on the city site to inform citizens of the smoke testing. The estimated time of completion of this entire project is roughly late July. If Mr. Stewart has anything to add, Mr. Stewart is here.
Hey, how are you? We
Good.
want to thank you guys for the opportunity. This has been, when my crews have talked about how professional the people working for the city have been with them too, so we appreciate that. Just a couple of things with the smoke testing. It's all about dry weather and the groundwater being gone, so we haven't had a lot of, so we might try to start that a little bit earlier if we can. If everybody agrees on that, we'll definitely have a conversation about that. So in areas that are dry, we can go ahead and start that. And that really bears a lot of fruit, and because that's where you can get a lot of quick fixes and things that don't take a lot of, have to go out and bid it out. You can do a lot of that stuff in-house too, so. And the decision that y'all made not to clean and CCTV, which is kind of unorthodox, has paid off already. Probably saved over $100,000 the city has, because the system was clean enough to camera without having to clean ahead of time. So that's going very well.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
The billing office, the billing cycle for all customers has now been moved to one billing cycle. Payments are due on the 15th of each month, and cutoffs begin the following month, the first of the following month.
Jeff, I've had some people call complaining about their water bill being very high. And I think I've been right in telling them that it's very possible that the bill they're getting is over a time span
Yes, sir.
of more like a month and a half.
Yes, sir.
So it could easily be 50% more if you used the same amount of water as you did the previous month.
Yes, sir. So I'm assuming it would fall, certain billing cycles would fall with the billing cycle that, how it all shifted, and it would combine and it'd make their bill initially higher, but it would taper off.
It'd be
on
back to
average. Yes, sir.
1 month,
Yes, sir.
after
The
that.
second month should be
yeah,
normal.
reasonable.
Yes, sir.
I also told them they probably got a rate increase coming down the road too.
Yes, sir.
Proactive, I like it.
We have filled 3 positions in our department. Cody Hohen is a light equipment operator. He comes from, I think it's Ohio? It's Ohio. Yeah. And he comes with utility experience. He's got a Class A CDL, and for the past 2 weeks that he's been here, he's been a very good hire. He's working with the crews, and he's been very eager in jumping in and making himself, putting himself to work. Preston Hayter, he starts on the 17th. He's a heavy equipment operator. He has a lot of experience operating heavy equipment. And Mr. Dana Douglas is starting this coming Monday as the water and wastewater operations manager.
She wants the other screen.
Dana Douglas, that was previously
Yes, sir.
employed with.
I think he was previously assistant director and interim director, and, yeah, he reached back out to Jeff, and like I said, we have an assistant director's job open. We're still interviewing and everything for it, and we offered Dana the operations job, so. I said that right, didn't I?
Yes, sir, you
Okay,
did.
good.
So also included the cost estimate for J.E. Sartain Road, which I think a gentleman and a young lady that came in previously, Walford worked up a cost estimate. The mayor asked me to get with them and get a breakdown of labor and material, and they're still working on that. They've been kind of swamped the past 2 days with stuff going on. And Daniel told me that he should have that probably by Monday. So I look forward to getting that. If you have any questions about that, feel free to ask.
This is just an estimate of the total cost,
Yes, sir.
and then you're gonna get a breakdown. County's gonna pay for the material as, for our agreement. Who's gonna do the labor for actually laying the
So
line?
if they want to pay us, we will do.
We'll do it, or they can do it themselves?
So roughly, I could I ballparked it. I did an estimate of my own before they did.
Okay.
And Daniel, the labor and the material was pretty much spot on with
Okay.
what he had. And I don't want to speak until he gives that piece of paper, but I know what the cost of labor and material is roughly going to run.
And Tim Morris from the county is the one who's kind of spearheading it on that side, and I did talk to him the end of last week and told him we would try to get them something next week and let them see if they want to go forward, as well as the Ms. Pugh is who's heading it up. Judy Pugh is who's been heading it up for the citizens, and as soon as we can get that to them, we'll see what their plan is.
Okay.
That's all I have. Well, that's all I have for the director's report. you wanna go over to the budget review?
All right.
So, y'all don't have the notes that I have, but Mr. Anthony, the Director of Finance, and I sat down today, and I'll go through some of this, some of the things that him and I discussed. So, on the first page on revenues, line item 37199, miscellaneous water, Director Burrows is looking into, do you need one?
Yeah, you got another copy?
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that.
So 37199 miscellaneous, Director Burrows is looking into what funds are going in and out of that line item. So I guess we can also discuss the rate increase that coincides with this, because if you look at the revenues, so, which this will play a huge part in our revenues. I gave my sheet away. Do you mind passing me one of those? Thank you. So you can look at the sample bills, which on the right-hand side is what my water usage would be, my normal usage in my bill. Right now, we are charging per 2,000 gallons, $10.97, and this is inside the city limits. It's $10.97, the sewer is $13.78, and, I mean, you can add the waste, recycle, and sanitation in. So normally, my bill would be $64.82. So we went 20 years without a rate increase, more or less, and then I think it was in 2021, if my memory serves me, there was a rate increase, and then one again in 2023. So comparatively to Tullahoma, and you can see on that sheet, so Tullahoma has pretty much kept up with all the rate increases that have come down from Duck River. I figured through inflation, between the average of 3% and 5%, and I, just going on the high side of that, I went 5%, and it brought us to $14.70 per 2,000 gallons, $18.47 for sewer. And the finance director supports a 5% rate increase, which still leaves us less than Tullahoma. And this is all, I mean, we have time to discuss this and see where we want to go with this. But I would recommend being somewhere competitive rate-wise with Tullahoma and surrounding. West Warren is a lot higher than ours. Theirs is $29.99 per 2,000 gallons. And their sewer rates are $43.98 per 2,000 gallons.
Where does West Warren get their water? They get it from
They don't get it from us.
McMinnville?
I
Yeah.
would assume so.
McMinnville, I think. Okay.
And so, I mean,
And I think it'd be good to note, right, that Tullahoma and Manchester buy water at the same
same
place.
place.
Yeah, Duck River.
Right, I mean, so just, I think that, but look, I've had people that didn't know that we bought water, believe it or not. I mean, I've had that conversation with people, and they think that we purified the water and resold it. I'm like, no, we purchase water.
We
So-
buy wholesale water.
Once upon
Yeah.
a time, we did. Right up here behind First National Bank, you know.
Yes.
Back in the beginning.
A long time ago.
I'm gonna give credit, so Miss Kathleen in the billing office, I told her what I wanted, and she put together a spreadsheet with exactly what I wanted. So, you know, she did a really good job on this, and I'm very thankful that she did, because she knew exactly what I wanted and was able to produce that.
Jeff, I would say I don't know if you want to vote on this today to send it to Board of Mayor and
It's
Alderman.
not on the agenda, so.
Okay, well, we can talk about it. One thing
I mean,
put this in respect to the forthcoming budgets. You know, we're gonna have to get
So-
enough money to balance that budget that you're gonna have to do all these repairs and.
that goes into the conversation that
Yeah.
Anthony and I had today as well. So he is gonna prepare the budget. in accordance to the 5% rate increase, if so desired. And, you know, that 5% increase, so the other spreadsheets, I mean, you don't have to look at them, I'll explain them. From 2023 to 2029, it was a 5% increment in each year. And the compound would have been, so it could be done one of two ways. It could be a compound rate, but you have to change the rates every year. And every year it would go up.
We didn't do that.
We're not gonna do that. You could do it, I'm sorry, that was if we just went 5% increments each year. If we did the compound rate, it would stay, I think it was 13.36 per 2,000 gallons, if my memory serves me. And you'd make up money on the front end, on the back end, if something went wrong, I mean, you'd have to make another rate
Adjustment.
increase. So I would rather, and again, Tullahoma's probably, I'm gonna call Duck River and ask if we can expect a rate increase for ourselves. That will also determine where we need to be, because if they're going up, then we need to go up even a little higher than where we're at on this. So this is a baseline for what I think where we should be, where we should have been a year ago, or 2 years ago.
And the other part of the water too, right, that Jeff and I, we're gonna get a meeting with Hillsville. We haven't done that in a period of time. We need to understand what kind of growth they're anticipating. There's lots of things, you know, that are gonna play into a lot of these numbers, right? And Jeff and Anthony have done a good job of trying to get to the bottom of a lot of it, because to be honest, a lot of it I think is not English sometimes, because we just can't find the history of how we've done it before. And so we're gonna talk to them, understand what their needs are going forward. You know, the county did pass them guys some ARP money to put up a new tower. I don't know where they are in that process. You know, so there's lots of things that play into who we wholesale water to that we've gotta have some answers as well.
I believe our written agreement with them too includes the opportunity to adjust the rates if we adjust rates in the city. I remember working on that
So Hillsville.
3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, and I think we need to probably revisit that, and every time we see a rate increase, we should probably pass those along, once we get our standard deal
Sure.
done. Every time Duck River goes up, it should just be a pass-through. The board should pass it, and it should go on to wholesalers as well as the citizens, versus us taking it for a while.
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and then it gets into a big number, and it turns into a bigger problem. So we're definitely looking at restructuring all that with, when Jeff came on board, that's things we've been discussing to make sure.
The citizens, it's easier for them to swallow 50 cents as it is $5, you know.
Well, and also,
True.
it's an easier conversation
Yeah, it's
when you
easier
say that, hey,
conversation.
you know, our supplier went up,
Yeah.
we're passing it along, versus, hey, we kind of took it on the chin for a few years, and now we can't take it anymore, here's $2. You know, I mean, so.
Yeah.
Right,
Well, we basically took it on the chin for 20 years.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, and can't go backwards.
Nope.
We're gonna go forward, and I think if we can put a good plan together that we can explain, they're not gonna be happy, but at least they get it.
And so, some of the, I'll go to the next page. I won't get into all of the details of anything I discussed with the budget, but, some of the things that I'm gonna be asking, March 18th is when expects to have the majority of the budget completed. The things that I'm gonna be looking at, which we still have roughly, so we were given $1 million line item for wastewater for the plant. And currently, we have spent $277,000 of that money. I've not wanted, because of the budget, I have not wanted to go above and blow out my budget at the beginning or middle of the year. now that we're getting down to the end of it, I've contacted Walford and asked for the best means moving forward in spending the majority of the money we have left in that line item at our plant. And even if, so Mr. Anthony, and this is a discussion him and I had, even if that money can't be done at that time, on that particular thing, we can allocate it through different things that we need, and also, I mean, roll it over into the next year's if it's allowed. So currently, the things I'll be asking for next year's budget are another 4 or 5 trucks, 2 foreman trucks. When I say 4 trucks, 4 full-size trucks, 2 foreman trucks, a dump truck, a skid steer, building and office additions that we need. And I will also be asking for more money for line items regarding water and sewer, for repairs, for unknown water repairs and emergencies. And that's something we'll go over through our budget and see where we're at on that.
And you guys did approve, I think it was 3 trucks and 1 truck for the director. That did go through, and they should be ordered, right? You should be getting it was the ones we just bought in Murfreesboro. We passed that.
No, sir, that didn't go before BOMA.
It didn't? It didn't make it?
No, sir. So,
They didn't vote on it, in other words.
yeah, they didn't. I asked Mr. Anthony, he said he thought it was.
Yeah, it was taken out of the agenda.
No, I took
That
out the
wasn't
2 Ford Explorers with
Okay,
them,
okay,
with
okay.
EMA.
It wasn't in the agenda.
Oh, I know what happened. We went to Manchester and we didn't get it in.
Yes, sir.
We're trying to buy local, right? And to do that, you've got to put some stuff out for bids versus, because they're not part of the state deal. And so we started there, we got all our pricing, and then I think we hit so it will be on BOMA, but I don't see anybody bucking that. But it was 3 trucks and 1 full
It was
size.
three Mavericks and 1
Yeah.
F-150.
Okay.
And,
Budget and finance passed it, that's where.
yes, sir.
Okay. All right, sorry about that.
It's okay. I don't know if you have any questions. I know I just threw this in front of you. If you see anything that you have a concern or a question about, feel free to ask. We had a pretty thorough review of our budget today, so I can give you a minute to look through it.
Is there anything that we've really run way over
So,
items?
yes, sir. So one of the things, and this is regarding the wastewater plant, I think it was page 8, nope, 7. So, there was quite a few overruns right now. And I mean, by the end of the year, there will be more. So, one of the questions that Mr. Anthony and I both have is, employees allocated to each department, because there's underruns in other departments. So they're putting together a spreadsheet with each employee and seeing where they're designated to and what funds are coming out of which account. So I should have that probably, I think Ms. Kelly said she'll have it to me next week. And I don't know if that's the case, or if there just wasn't enough money budgeted. It's kind of hard to tell at the moment without me being able to look at that spreadsheet. But there was areas, I mean, Mr. Anthony started right before I did, and, I mean, the budget, it was, I guess, I don't know how to speak on that, but.
Well, so we put the budget together in Budget and Finance, because the acting director at the time, you know, we went in there and there was a lot of things that weren't there. So we tried to put it together during a Budget and Finance meeting, which, okay, we can live through that.
That was last year.
Yeah, that was last year, which is this budget here. But the other issue you had too is, I mean, now we have a finance director that, gets how this should work. And we're having to go through all departments, not just water and sewer, and reclassifying employees. We have a HR manager now that we haven't had before, which helps us make sure that when we hire people and we do those things, they're, coded correctly into what that means. So we're seeing it in a lot of the departments in this budget now, that labor, they're not really over the overall spend, but we just didn't get them coded correctly. And so some looks like we're over, some looks like we're under, but the overall as a city has done a really good job with labor this year, and Jeff has too. But we're just cleaning up our own house for next year as we start to get the new budget put together to present in April, I
So
believe.
this is like a guidepost to where
Yeah.
we have a good understanding of what we need to do moving forward, and where we are at this year with our budget.
And until we get the inputs correct, it makes the outputs look a little different. And we're working on getting all those straightened out too. So it will, I think it will be good for next year. It'll allow, Director Perry to honestly put a game plan together for repairs and different things and understand where his monies are and those things. I did have one question, Jeff. How many water towers do we have? I'm skipping here just a little bit, but
5 or 6.
I'm thinking 5, but
5?
I'm guessing 5.
Any in the county?
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
One
yeah.
out in, North Coffee.
And that services, that's out by the school, right?
Right.
That's where it was built for.
Yeah, it's for the school and to service a little bit of that area, right?
Yes, sir.
But most of our towers are for service inside the city, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. I just want to make that clear. Okay.
Blanche Chapel, that's out of
Blanche.
the county.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's right, okay.
So, one of the things too, we're at 93% water capacity. It was 93.
Mhm.
93. So we need to we really need to be looking into one at the least, 2 at the most, or 2 at the minimum, I think, water towers. We need one in North Coffee County because of the pressure problems that they're having out there. And then probably one at the industrial park. And we're looking, so Walford, I got with them just, and I'm gonna get with Adam as well about, what they think we should do moving forward as far as water towers are concerned.
Well, we've talked about that in the past. We knew there was a need for
Yes, sir.
a couple of more water tanks.
And so, since, Jeff and I had a conversation a little bit about this too, and there's some ARP monies, I think I reported, I don't know if it was in this meeting or a different one, that counties and cities turn back into the state. Those funds become available in August, so we are on the list to see if we can't put our hands on some more of those funds. Now, the way it's gonna work is we'll take some projects that we have completed, and Adam, if I mess this up now, you're here to help me. We take projects that we've completed that we paid for. We turn those projects in to get the money, but the money is actually for something we want to do in the future, because you can't do the design, the construction, everything to meet the deadline for those monies. So what our intent is, and the ladies that I've spoke to at the state, is if we do get awarded some money, we're gonna turn in some of those projects that we've completed, but we're gonna take that money and put it toward water towers. So that's our long-term strategy that we're working through. Hopefully those funds come available. If not, there's a lady named Vera, I can't think, Vina. We've had some really good conversations, and she sits on some boards that help with funds, and she understands our needs. But I think, we're doing a lot of sewer work right now, which is good. We still have a lot to do, But I think the next type of focus is gonna come towards some water towers, with some money if we can get awarded. But
Right.
just to let you guys know, we do, Jeff and I meet, like I told you when he first got here, we hadn't talked today, but that's very uncommon. We haven't spoke, during the day, but, you know, we're trying to strategize to get caught up on some areas that, we just haven't had a good focus. But funds is the big thing, because as you can see in the dollars of this committee, we don't have millions of dollars sitting around to just go, because you've done a lot of projects out of it, right? So that's good, but just as a going forward, we do, Jeff is right, 93% is getting up there, and we know, we gotta do something soon. So, did I say that right?
I believe so.
All right.
Well, you gotta look towards your growth, what's upcoming.
Yeah, I
or
mean,
what you
and,
want to be upcoming.
and, you know, growth is something that, you know, we've been looking at since I took office. Because, you know, I mean, that's what I hear a lot about is it's coming, we don't wanna be a Murfreesboro, we're never gonna be Murfreesboro. We go ahead and put that to bed today. The best we can hope for, in the next coming years is to be the size of Tullahoma. Right now, we're not even a 1980 model of Tullahoma in size, and they're just 21,000 people. So, it's not been overran, we just got behind the 8 ball a little, and we will get out in front of it, in the next few years, so.
That's all I have on new business. If y'all have any more questions, feel free to ask.
We have a quote on the pole barn there.
So,
Agenda.
I didn't print it off, so the quote I was at, we budgeted $50,000 for a pole barn, and, which when we went and got a quote at the beginning, well, it was first quarter of the year, it was roughly 70, there was 2 quotes, and the third vendor didn't provide a quote. It was Summertown Metals and Watson's. Watson's was $130,000 roughly. Summertown Metals was $75,000 for what we were trying to build. Because of it being way overshot of what we had budgeted for, we just held back. And now that we have come towards the last quarter of the year, we went back and got new bids we shortened the building down a little bit, and the quote that we got from Summertown, which Watson's was way higher, the lowest quote is from Summertown again, and it's $51,619. And that's concrete, and we can expand on that building in the future. And this is where we'll be storing equipment and our pipes. And
So have you awarded it,
no, sir,
Summertown?
I'm just bringing it to
Oh.
y'all so y'all can approve it. And if y'all want copies of the quotes, I can get that to you.
You said 51?
Yes, sir. Watson's was still upwards of 80.
Well, I move that we accept the quote from, Summertown? Summertown. Oh, that's Summertown, Tennessee? Is that where they're located, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I move we accept that bid and award it to them.
I second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's approved.
Thank you, guys.
Anything else? Aaron? I move that we adjourn.
Yes, sir.
I'll second it.
All in
We
favor,
need it.
say aye. Aye.